I am Ibrahim Traoré, and today I am unveiling the truth behind the masks you hide behind. Yes, you heard me right. The young military leader you label a dangerous extremist, the so-called anti-Western dictator, I am the reality. And this time, you won't silence me. This time, your cameras won't turn away. This time, your editors won't cut these words. The world you controlled no longer exists. Millions will hear this message now, unfiltered, unmanipulated, and free from your lies. I'm 34 years old. Every day, I was raised on your falsehoods. As a child, I saw Africa on television, always the same images. Hungry children, barren lands, weapons, death. That, they said, was Africa. We accepted it. We felt ashamed of ourselves, our homeland, our people. But as I grew, I read and questioned. I realized the Africa you showed was a fabrication. The story you imposed was your script, designed to keep us confined in your narrative. How did you portray Africa? How did you present it? As if we lacked humanity. As if we were savages beyond civilization. As if we were helpless souls waiting for your rescue. Hour after hour, minute after minute, the same story is replayed on your screens. Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words your world associates with Africa. Your dictionary has no room for hope, success, development, resistance, pride, or triumph. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, The Guardian, Le Monde, how many times have you made Africa's achievements your headlines? How often have you celebrated Rwanda's tech revolution? How often have you highlighted Ethiopia's massive reforestation? How often have you praised Botswana's democracy? How often have you explored Kenya's booming startups? Rarely if ever. Because these stories don't fit your agenda. Your Africa cannot succeed, or else how would you justify exploitation? If Africa isn't desperate, how will you intervene? If Africa is not backward, how will you claim superiority? Have you ever asked yourselves, why are the people living on the richest lands in the world still poor? Let me give you the facts. Africa holds 70% of the world's cobalt reserves, the very cobalt powering your phones, computers, electric cars. This cobalt comes from Congo, yet the Congolese cannot afford these devices. Africa owns 90% of the world's platinum, essential for catalytic converters, electronics, medical implants. This platinum is mined in South Africa, yet unemployment crushes the people there. Africa supplies 30% of the world's gold, from Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania. Gold flows like water, but our people remain in poverty. Africa produces 65% of the world's diamonds, from Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone. Billions worth are extracted, but our miners earn barely $1 a day. Africa holds 35% of the world's uranium reserves, from Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Nuclear reactors across the globe run on our uranium. The lights in Paris glow because of what we produce. Yet, our own villages live in darkness, without electricity. So don't ask why Africa is poor. Ask instead, how has Africa been kept poor despite its immense wealth? Here is the truth. Colonialism never truly ended. It just evolved. Where once you invaded and occupied our lands by force, now you establish corporations. Where once you seized our resources with guns, now you make agreements. Where once rulers ruled with whips, now they rule with loans and credit. Let me give you real numbers, real names, and real dates, Things you will never see in your newspapers. Glenner, the Swiss mining giant extracting cobalt from Congo, earned $256 billion in 2022, yet paid only $500 million in taxes to Congo. That's a mere 0.2%. Is this fairness? Rio Tinto, a British-Australian mining company, pulls 20 million tons of bauxite from Guinea each year. What remains for Guinea? Environmental destruction and rising cancer rates. Total Energies, the French oil giant, extracts oil in Angola, Nigeria, Congo. Their 2022 profit, $36 billion. Meanwhile, pipelines pollute our lands. Anglo-American, founded in South Africa but now headquartered in London, mines diamonds, platinum, and iron. What has South Africa gained? 6 million unemployed miners. And this is only the visible part. What about the hidden layers, secret deals, offshore bank accounts, transfer pricing tricks? Every year, $88 billion illegally flows out of Africa. Who reports on this? Aid to Africa totals $4 billion annually. Everyone hears about that. But no one says Africa is not just a recipient of aid, it is also a donor through stolen wealth. While your cameras focus on images of hunger and poverty, a vast system operates silently behind the scenes. Every day, tons of gold, diamonds, cobalt, uranium, and oil leave our soil. How does this system function? Step 1. Create corruption. Bribe leaders. Open offshore accounts. Promise luxury. Send their children abroad. Step 2. Negotiate deals. Secure 50-year, even 99-year concessions. Demand tax breaks. Evade environmental laws. Ignore workers' rights. Step 3. Control infrastructure. Own ports, airports, railways, but only the parts linking mines to harbors. No roads to villages. No electricity to schools. Step 4. Enforce security. Hire private armies. Arm them. Declare protesters terrorists. Step 5. Silence the press. Buy journalists. Suppress dissent. Feed selective news to the global media. This is how the system has worked for over a century. You don't see it because you are part of it. The biggest advertisers in your media, New York Times, CNN, BBC, are companies profiting from Africa's exploitation: oil, mining, arms, pharmaceuticals. You live on their money, defend their interests. What I am about to say may cost me my life, but silence is no longer an option. France controls Africa through the CFA franc. 14 African countries still use this colonial currency. Half of their central bank reserves sit in the French treasury, where France charges negative interest, meaning we pay France to hold our own money. Through this system, France extracts $500 billion worth of resources from Africa every year. Who writes about this? No one. But when France gives Africa 10 billion euros in aid, it makes headlines. Britain's system is even more sophisticated. London is the global hub for money laundering. Every dollar stolen from Africa flows through the city of London, Jersey, Guernsey, Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, all under British control. Africa's wealth is hidden in plain sight, locked away beyond borders and bank vaults. America's system here is called AFRICOM, with 46 military bases scattered across the continent. Officially, they say it's about security. But the real goal is control. Control of resources, control of power. Drones hover in our skies daily, listening devices everywhere. They claim they're fighting terrorism, but the real targets are our people's leaders. China enters the scene, promising win-win cooperation. They build roads, railways, and ports, offer loans and credit. But what's the cost? 99-year leases on ports, mining concessions, fertile agricultural lands. It's debt-trap diplomacy in action. Ask Sri Lanka, ask Zambia. Yet you refuse to tell these stories. Because you are not a free press. You are corporate press. Your masters are billionaires. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, not out of love for journalism, but business. Rupert Murdoch's media empire controls Fox News, Wall Street Journal, The Sun, The Times, all pushing the same narrative. The West is good, everyone else is bad. Carlos Slim, the Mexican billionaire, is the largest shareholder of the New York Times. Where does his wealth come from? Monopolizing Latin America's telecommunications, profiting off the backs of its people, now influencing America's so-called independent journalism. Who are your editors? Which schools did they attend? Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge, the same elite institutions shaping the same worldview, the same biases. How do you select your reporters? How many African languages does your Africa correspondent speak? French and English, that's it. What about Swahili, Hausa, Yoruba? Languages of the people whose stories you claim to tell.